Okay, so yesterday we were discussing about this example, that is, see, whenever you look at the result sheet, okay, when results are announced. So, for example, if you look at this marks, say 95 for the particular student, that is roll number 2. See, by looking at the marks, so you will come to know, of course, marks and total average percentage, everything. But if you want to identify this position, okay, where this marks is present, so how to do? So yesterday we have discussed, like if you consider this as the first row, okay, second, third, fourth, fifth row, okay. Similarly, so first column, second column, third column, fourth column, and fifth column. So you consider 5 rows and 5 columns. So if I want to identify this position, so where this marks 95%. So what we can say is, like, you look at the row, so in which row it is present. Okay, so it is present in second row. Okay, and you look at the column, in which column it is present. So it is present in fourth column. Okay, so second row, fourth column. So that means it is required two things. That is representing the row number, and representing the column number. Okay, represent the row number and represent the column number. Then only you can identify the position where it is present. Okay, now I can say 2, 4. That is 2 is the row number, 4 is the column number, second row, fourth column. So when you identify in this way, when you identify the numbers or the elements or the items in this way, so these two things are called as, okay, either we can say index values or subscript values. Index values or subscript values. I hope people have understood. Okay. So if you identify, if you represent this value in terms of row and column, then it is nothing but index value or subscript value. So you can say second row, fourth column. Okay. Now this is, I'm talking about two-dimensional array. So 2 dimensions is required here. 2 dimensions are required. One is row, another one is column. So if you want to understand it better, you can consider like x-axis and y-axis. If at all, if you put one point, like coordinates, so you say some distance from x-axis and some distance from y-axis. So for example, if I say 3, 2, okay, so 3 centimeters from x-axis, 2 centimeters from y-axis, or 3 meters from x-axis, 2 meters from y-axis. Some units you can say, okay. So if you represent in x, y axis, that is according to graph, then you can see 2 dimensions here. Okay, so this is 2-dimensional array. So when we talk about 1 dimension, so you people only can say it is required only 1 dimension. That means either a row or a column, not both here. Okay, so if you represent in terms of row or if you represent in terms of column, then it is called 1-dimensional array. So you should not represent the values in terms of both, that is row and column. Only one you have to use in case of 1-dimensional array. Okay, and that is also called as subscript value. Okay, now we will define these arrays. That is 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional, and multi-dimensional array. Okay. So from the term only we can understand, that is, it is required only 1 dimension. So dimension is nothing but like a direction, you can say. Okay, dimension is nothing but direction. So when we talk in terms of programming language, okay, we can say here dimension is nothing but a row or a column. If I say 1 dimension, either you can consider a row or you can consider a column. If I say 2 dimensions, you have to consider both row and column. Okay. So if we consider 1 dimension, you have to consider either the row or a column. If you consider 2 dimensions, then you have to consider both, that is row and column. So whether you consider the row or a column or both, those things are called as index values, or we can say subscript values. So in array, how to call it as index values or subscript values. Now, definition of 1-dimensional array is, 1-dimensional array is a collection of elements with same name and same type, but with only one subscript value. So this definition you have to remember. One dimensional array is a collection of elements with same name and same type, but with only one subscript value. See, definition of an array is common for one dimensional, two dimensional and multi-dimensional. That is collection of elements with same name and same type. So this definition you have to remember. Collection of elements with same name and same type. So wherever it is required, you have to add something. That is, for one dimensional array, you say only one subscript value. For two dimensional, you say two subscript values are required. For multi-dimensional, more than two subscripts. You don't say three dimensions, more than two subscripts. More than two subscript values are required. So one dimensional array is a collection of elements with same name and same type, but with only one subscript value. Okay, understood? So now, before I go to the syntax and example, some things we will try to understand. Okay, that means what is the advantage of using arrays? We have come across the variable concept. We know how to store the values and all. So now let us discuss the advantage of using arrays. How it helps in writing a program and how it helps in applications. Okay. See, when you consider the variables, see for example, if I say in A, B, C, D, E. Okay, 5 variables I have considered. And I can store 5 values. So A is equals to 10. So B is equals to 20. C equals to 30. So D equals to 40. E equals to 50. So I can store 5 values in these variables. Okay, either you write here only or in the next line, it doesn't matter. So when we store the values in variables, in this case what happens? For every variable, one memory location will be assigned by the computer. That is the compiler for every variable. Say if you consider A is equals to 10, so in computer memory, you can consider this as the memory for A and A is the variable. So this is the memory location for A and A is the variable and 10 is the value. So this is the value. Okay. Similarly for B also, you can consider this is the memory location for B and 20 is the value. So it's same thing for C, 30, 40. Okay, then for E it is 50. So these are the values part. Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 are the values which are stored in variables A, B, C, D and E respectively. Okay. So from this what we can understand is, see, if I want to store the values to the variables, so in one variable at a given time we can store only one value. So this concept you understand. In one variable at a given time we can store only one value. If we try to store one more value, what happens? We will see. For example, after these things are done, see, if I say like A is equals to 100. Okay, if I say A is equals to 100, I want to store one more value for variable A. I want to store one more value for variable A. Is it possible? First thing. No, it is not possible, because when I write like this, what happens is, see, instead of storing like this, that is 100 for the same variable A, instead of storing like this, what happens is, this value will replace, that is 10 will be replaced by 100. So it will not store two values. So it will not say like 10, 100 and this is the variable A. No, this will not happen. Understand this concept. So at a given point of time, only one value can store. Next time if you try to store 200, so this 100 will be replaced by 200. So it will be 200. So whenever you will add the values to the variables, so it must store only one value at a given time. So it will not store more values. But in case of array, what happens? The definition itself is collection of elements. That means collection of values. Collection means more than one. It's very, very simple. Group of values, list of values, collection of values. So collection or a group or a list meaning is more than one or more. So it is not compulsory that you have to store more values. You can store the more values. That is, it will give us option to store the more values. So if I consider the same thing in array concept, okay. Say, let me take the variable A. Okay. A variable. See, first time if you tell A is equals to 10, so A will be the variable name, then 10 is there. Okay. Now if I want to store two more values, say 20 and 30. Okay, if I want to store two more values, 20 and 30, for the same variable, yes, it is possible by using the concept of arrays. Okay, so only the definition says collection of elements. Collection means more than one value. So how it will be possible, I will tell you. Okay, so this much you try to understand now. So if I want to store 20 and 30 in same variable A, it is possible. So let us discuss the one-dimensional array. Okay. So one-dimensional array is a collection of elements with same name and same type, but with one subscript value. Now we have to look at the syntax. Okay, so whenever we learn any new concept in programming language, we have to remember the syntax. Then only you can write the example or a program, anything. Okay, just like formulas in mathematics, here we have to remember the syntax. So syntax of one-dimensional array declaration. So we can say declaration of one-dimensional array. Declaration of one-dimensional array. I hope you people remember declaration of a variable, not an array. Declaration of a variable. So declaration of a variable is data type. Okay. Variable name. So this is the declaration of a variable. Say variable or variable name. This is nothing but a declaration of variable. Example, okay, int a or float b. Okay. So where int and float are the data types, a and b are the variables. So this much we know. So this is the declaration of variable. And the purpose of declaring a variable is to know the type of the value we are storing, to know the how much amount of memory is required to store that particular value. Okay, to know the type of the value we are storing, to know how much amount of memory is required to store that particular value. So for variable A, type is integer, 2 bytes of memory. For variable B, type is float, 4 bytes of memory. Okay. Now when we consider the array concept, here, say for variable A itself, if I want to store more values, just by declaring this much, it is not possible. Remember, just by declaring this line int A, it is not possible to store more values. Whenever you try to store more values, it will replace. It will keep on replacing the values. So it is not possible. So what we have to do is, now if I want to store more than one value, first you have to mention the size. How many values you are trying to store. First you have to mention that. How many values you are trying to store in this variable. So only syntax changes. So this syntax, this same syntax we cannot consider with arrays, because if you consider, then you cannot store more values. So the syntax is, you just see, so data type, okay, variable. Before you put semicolon, you have to mention here size. How many values you want to store in this? You just compare little bit extension, that's all. Data type variable of size. So in the square bracket, that is in the brackets, you have to mention the size. See, in programming language, for this brackets, you just call it as brackets. Enough. Okay, no need to call square brackets, because we have different terms. For this, you have to call it as parenthesis, and for lower brackets, you say braces. For square brackets, you just say brackets. So once again, I will tell you, parenthesis, that is into bracket, what we use in mathematics. Braces, what we use in as lower brackets in mathematics. This is square brackets, you just call it as brackets. Okay. So in the brackets, we have to give size here. So this size indicates how many values we are trying to store, because array means it is a collection of arrays, right? Now, little bit modification I will do for this syntax, because whenever you consider the array concept, instead of telling variable, you just say, so data type, instead of telling variable, you say array, or you can say array name. Array name of size. Okay, so data type, array name of size. So this is the syntax of one-dimensional array. Understood? People got it? Any doubts till here? So when you use the declaration of variable, and if you want to store more values, it is not possible. So you have to follow the syntax where you will mention the size. There you will write size, so that we will come to know how many values we are trying to store. Okay. So final syntax like it. So syntax for one dimensional array declaration. So data type, array name, size. Okay. So one more important thing what you have to remember here is the concept of identifier. Okay. So whenever you tell the definition of identifier, or if you remember the concept of identifier, so identifiers are nothing but the names given to these things. That is to these programming elements. That is, if you consider the variable, okay. So variable is nothing but a variable name. If you consider the array, so array is nothing but the variable name. So that means identifier. Then function, it is nothing but the function name. This is also an identifier, and so on. So many things are there. So these are all programming elements: variable name, array name, function name, class name, object name, structure name. These are all comes under the concept called as identifiers. So identifiers are the names given to these programming elements. That is variables, arrays, functions, structures, classes, and so on. So whenever you talk about these things, you say variable name, array name, function name, class name, structure name, object name, etc. Okay. So here, so by this what we can understand is array name is nothing but the identifier. Okay. So data type we know. So in data type we have three things. One is basic. Next one derived. Okay. Next user defined. So data type, whatever we are using here, it can be basic data type, it can be derived data type, it can be user defined data type. And array name is nothing but the identifier. Array name is nothing but the identifier. Okay. And size indicates number of values we are storing. Number of elements, you can consider elements or values, number. And this is the maximum number of, because say, if for example, if I give the size as say 100, it is not compulsory that you have to store 100 values. If I give the size as 100, it is not compulsory that you have to store 100 values. Less than that also you can store. You can store only 50 values. But more than that you should not store. That's all. That is the meaning of size. Maximum size. Maximum size what computer will give for you is 100, and you can store less than or equals to 100. If you want to store 50 values, that is allowed. But if you want to store 110 values, then it is not allowed. And if you use a size as only 10, so maximum 10 values you can store, not more than that. You cannot store 12 or 15 values. Less than this you can store. You can store only 5 values. That is allowed. So maximum number of elements what you can store using the size. So data type can be any basic or derived or user defined. Array name is the identifier. Size is the maximum number of elements what you can store. So whenever you are writing the identifier, that is array name, you have to remember the identifier rules. Okay, you need not by heart in every program this particular thing is the array name, nothing like that. In case of variables also, you just remember the identifier rules, then you can write your own identifier name. Okay, but you see that you don't violate the rules. Okay, blank spaces not allowed, keywords not allowed, first character should not be digit, symbols except underscore should not be allowed. These 4 rules you remember, you can write your own array name, variable name, function name. Once again I am telling, blank spaces not allowed, keywords not allowed, special characters except underscore is not allowed, then first character should not be digit. So these 4 rules you remember and write the identifier. Okay. Now if we consider the basic type, so let us not worry about derived and underived right now. If we consider the basic type, we can use int, float, okay, char, okay, double. So these 4 keywords we can use. 4 data types we can use. Don't worry about bool and void data type. Just these 4 basic types you remember whenever you will declare the array. Now we will consider the example. I hope people have understood the syntax. Any doubts? Just start and tell if you have any doubts still here. We will move further. Any doubts if people have? Any term, if you have not understood, let me know. So data type can be basic, derived or user defined. Array name means identifier. When you write the array name, you remember the identifier rules. Size is maximum number of elements what you can store. Okay. Then, if we consider the examples, you just look at the data type. You remember the data types and you write the examples. It's very easy. You remember these four data types: int, float, character, and double. So first example, if I consider int, int is the data type. Array name is nothing but identifier. So when you are writing an identifier, I'll tell you how best way to write the identifiers. It's very easy. Just make use of the alphabets present in English. That's all. Capital letters A to Z, small letters A to Z. So if you count it, we'll get 52. 26 plus 26. So after all, if you are finished with all the letters, then you can go for a big identifier, that is containing 2 characters or 3 characters or 4 characters, writing your name and all. First, in the case of this all alphabets. Okay, so if I write A, it is a correct identifier, valid identifier, because identifier can be single letter. It is possible. So when you consider single character, it should not be digit or so. Okay, starting point, it should not be digit, and you should not use any keywords. You just remember all the keywords, then you can write the identifier. So I have considered A. Then you mention the size. Okay, if I say 10, or you can say 5, so maximum 5 values I can store. Okay, similarly, second, make use of float data. Float, you consider B, because I have used already A, I have used. And if you want to use one more time A as the identifier, you can write capital letter B. That is also possible. Because in program, small letter A identifier and capital letter A identifier are treated as different. Both are different in program. So there will be no conflict at all. You will not get any error. But you see that whenever you are using small letter A, it belongs to integer type. Whenever you are using capital letter A, it belongs to float data. That you have to remember. That's all. But you can write capital letter and small letter, both different identifiers, both different array. Okay. So you can consider like say 10. Okay. Then third, CHR. So you just consider the C. Okay. 40. Okay. Now you look at this example. Integer is the data type, int. A is the array name. 5 is the size. Maximum 5 values I can store. What type of values I can store? Integer type values I can store. That indicates the type. When you mention the type, you have to store the values of that particular type only. Okay, when you mention the type. Then float is the data type, capital letter A is an identifier, 10 values you can store. And those 10 values should belong to the floating point values. The numbers in the form like 2.25, 5.25, like that. Okay. Whereas in the first example, you have to store the whole numbers, integer and the character. So C is the variable name, that is identifier. 5 values you can store. When it comes to character, little bit different concept, because in case of integers you have to store only integer numbers. In case of floating, you have to store only floating point numbers. But in case of character, you can store anything, because even digit 1 is also considered as character. If you put in single quotes, digit 1 is also considered as character. Okay, and the dot symbol, it is a decimal point actually. If you put in single quotes, it is considered as character. So character means all the categories will come: digits, capital letters, small letters, and all the symbols. Okay, so a little bit different concept. So for this third example, if we want to discuss in detail of this particular example, we have the concept called as strings. We can say the subtopic or sub-chapter of arrays chapter itself. Once we complete these two data types example with programmable, then we will move to the strings chapter. Okay, there in detail about character data type is present. Now, if you want to take this screenshot, you take it, because whatever I have written in this format, like arrow marks and all these diagrams and all, so it is not present in the notes, because in notes, according to the exam, how you want to write, in that way I have given. So while explaining it will be a little bit different, because I want you people to make understand better. So I have written like this. If you want to take screenshot, you can take it. Just 1 minute I will wait. Okay. See, those people who want to write also will wait. Okay, just you have to tell me. That's all. See, by using double data type, what you can achieve is like accuracy. After decimal point, if you want to display more numbers, then you have to use double. That's all. Like I said, if you consider the value of pi, if you display by using float, you can achieve like 3.142, say 3 zeros here. Okay, it's not 3 zeros, but just an example I'm giving. This you can achieve by using float. Okay, but if you go for double, still you can go like 4 more zeros. Okay, like this. So more accuracy you can get it by using double, that's all. But both comes in the floating point values. Okay. See, if you people want to copy whatever I have written on the board, for that also will wait. Okay. You just chat and tell if somebody wants to copy. Or else we will move further. Because whatever the things I have written on the board, in the same way I have not written in the notes. According to the exam, how people have read, in that way I have written in the notes, so that you can copy easily. But whatever it is present on the board, if you want to take screenshot or if you want to write it, let me know. So shall we move further? Okay, fine. So look here. So when I consider the example like storing values in variables, okay. If I consider like A, B, C, 3 variables, let me say A is equals to 10, B is equals to 20, C is equals to 30. So for this, if you consider the memory representation, so if you consider the memory locations like this, say 10, 20, 30 will be stored in computer memory. Okay. 10, 20, 30 will be stored in computer memory. But the thing is, this 10 will be referred by variable A, 20 will be referred by variable B, 30 will be referred by variable C. The meaning of that is only one value you can store in a variable. That is the meaning. If you are not using the concept of arrays, only one value you can store in the variable. Okay. And if you want to store more values, if you try to store, it will not store, but it will replace. So, for example, if I try to store, say 50 in A, this value will be replaced. So, A value will become 50. Okay, but not 10 and 50. Okay, but by using arrays, we can achieve that. That means, see, first I write memory representation. Okay. 10, 20, 30. Now, what I want to do is, so these three values, that is 10, 20, 30, should be referred by only one variable name A. Not three variables name, only one variable name A. Yes, I can achieve this. So these are the values. Okay, and A is the variable name. Here you don't call it as variable name, you just call it as array. It is array. Variable only, but different term you use, that's all. Variable means what? Which stores the value, which can change during the execution of the program. Same, array is also the variable which stores the values which can change during the execution of a program. Instead of using variable, you just use the array. The concept is same. Okay. So this variable can store more values. So array. So 10, 20, and 30 can be referred to variable A. For this, what we have to write the declaration is int A of, you say, while reading you say of, A of. Don't say A bracket 3, A of 3. Okay. So this indicates size. So three values I am showing. So I have given the size and I will tell you how to store the values. So to store the values, if I simply say A is equals to 10, A is equals to 20, A is equals to 30, it will not store. If you just say equal to 10, equal to 20, equal to 30, it will not store. So here we have to make use of the concept called as index or subscript. Index or subscript value. Okay. So that index or subscript value is nothing but indicating the positions of each element of an array. So this complete thing is an array, 10, 20, 30, this list, this is the list, right? Or you can say collection, group, this list is an array. So indicating each element by its position. So position in this sense here. So first element position will be indicated by 0, second element position will be indicated by 1, third element position will be indicated by 2. See, in real world, it is first, second, third. In array, it is 0, 1, 2. Because yesterday we have discussed. Array index values will start from 0. Array subscript values will start from 0. So I have to say 0, 1, 2. But when you are speaking in real world, you say first element, second element, and third element. So this indicates positions of an element in an array. And you have to write in the bracket. Okay, you have to write in the bracket. Okay, that is value 10, its position is 0. So I can say it is the position or index or subscript. Or index or subscript. So value is 10, index is 0, value is 20, index is 1, value is 30, index is 2. So like chapter numbers. So C++, first chapter, data types, second chapter, input output operators, third chapter, like that. So value 10, location is 0, that is position. Value 20, position is 1, value 30, position is 2. Now, if I want to store the values, how have to store this? If we write a equal to 10, a equal to 20, a equal to 30, it will not store, it will give error. So I should say like this: a of 0 is equal to 10, a of 1 is equal to 20, a of 2 is equal to 30. Like this. You just compare this with this one. You just compare. I have used 3 different variables to store 3 values, but I have used only one variable to store all the values. That is 3 values. Only difference is have to indicate the positions. That's all. Just simply say a equal to 10, a equal to 20, a equal to 30, you will not store. You have to say a of 0 is equal to 10, a of 1 is equal to 20, a of 2 is equal to 30. Okay. Now, if people take this screenshot, or if you want to, you can write it, however you feel comfortable. So, in the next class, we will continue. So, after 2 minutes, I will end the class. You just take the screenshot, or if you want, you can write it. Okay. So, once it is done, let me know in the chat.